Uh, you all know Surah Baqarah. It's the second surah of the Quran. And in Surah Baqarah, Allah says, Zalikal Kitabu la rayba fihi. So there is absolutely no doubt in this book. Okay? And then he says, Hudal lil muttaqeen. It's a guidance of those who are muttaqeen, the ones who are having the taqwa. Right? Allah is putting us in the place in the very, very beginning of the book. So it's guidance for those who are having the taqwa. Now, what is taqwa? This tool is super important in Islam. So Allah has mentioned it already after introducing himself in Surah Fatiha, and then in the first surah, he already mentions that. Right? So when you start to read the book, you already know where you're going and what is expected of you. So Hudal lil Muttaqin, the ones who come to Quran with the intention to seek guidance, those people, that's for those people, this is a guidance, right? This is a guidance for the people who are having the taqwa and the God consciousness. So what is that? Now, Hudal lil Muttaqin is about being conscious of Allah. Generally, taqwa is defined, I've seen many times, as fearing Allah. Yeah. When a child does a mistake, we normally go to the child and tell the child, "Hey, Allah will punish you. Allah will be angry." Those types of things. But it's not about fearing Allah. It's about being conscious of Allah. It's about as if you sit in a room alone and I put CCTV cameras around you, and you know always and always that somebody is watching you. What would you do in that room? You will try not to do anything that will displease the watcher, right? So that's taqwa, that's muttaqeen, people who are conscious, who are aware that Allah is always watching me, and he has his angels around me. Whatever I do is not hidden from him. That's being conscious, building that consciousness. For those people, this is guidance. Now the question is how to build that consciousness. So what to do about it? So Allah in this ayah, in these 2-3 ayahs, clarifies that. Now, the first word I'm going to pick from it is allazina yu'minuna. It's the first part of this ayah. Allazina is just for those who want the grammar. It's a non-flexible ism. It's always like that, and it actually means the ones who. Right. So we will study that in the later half of our studies, inshallah, when you're a little bit more advanced on that. So the ones who, and yu'minuna is a fail here. It's a verb fail that means the ones who believe. It's a present tense, right? Now this is used 2 times in these few ayahs. So one right after the allazina, and the one is and right after another allazina in the next ayah, right? So Allah is wanting us to believe few things, and I want us to walk through that, because Allah said that this book is the guidance for those who are having the taqwa, and now He's defining who are those people actually who have the taqwa. So this is the tool we need to understand. Believe what? Believe bil ghaib. The first requirement Allah is putting is to believe in the unseen. The biggest challenge that we face today is uh, actually truly believing there are angels, jinns. There is a heaven and the hell, because we have never seen that, right? We have never seen the qadr of Allah. We have never seen the messengers. We've never seen all of them. So it's the believing in the unseen that you have not seen, trusting Allah that yes, this is there, as if you truly are looking at it, or feeling it, seeing it. That's the first requirement Allah is putting towards whoever is wanting to believe. The second comes from the second ayah. Unzila alayka. Whatever was sent down before, whatever was sent down on Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the Quran, and everything the Quran says. Now there are things in Quran that we may or may not understand. There are stories in Quran that look fictitious and fantasy, right? But that's where your bil ghaib comes into place, right? That's where you believe in the bil ghaib comes into place. You have not seen Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam. You have not seen Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam building the Kaaba. You have not seen all of that, right? So trusting the Quran, believing in it as a true kalam of Allah. That's the second requirement. Third, unzila min qablika. Whatever came before is the third requirement here. Unzila min qablika. It's a requirement that whatever came before Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning whatever the message Hazrat Isa brought, Hazrat Musa brought, Hazrat Ibrahim brought, and all the messengers that Allah sent, believing in their message, because it was effectively the same message. Right? You believe, and many communities are you see today in our deen, unfortunately, have introduced prophecy after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there are communities like that, right? And if the Quran gives you a very simple answer to that, the Quran is saying, believe in the ones who were sent before you. The word is qabli, before, not after, right? So we're supposed to believe the messages before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the messengers who came with that message, because effectively it's the same family, it's the same group that brought the same message. And the fourth belief Allah is asking us to do is bil akhirah. Bil akhirah here. Bil akhirah is, are we actually really believing that we will be resurrected? Do we really believe? I mean, we say we do, but do we really believe it? The judgment day, as Allah defines, inshallah, in some of the classes, we'll discuss the visual aspect of the judgment day. Quran is very visual. So there are many things which are very much in detail defined in the Quran how the judgment day would be. So do we really believe in all of that, the events of that judgment day? So these are four things: believing in the ghaib, believing in the book, believing in whatever came before, and the akhirah. If we do these four things, then you become a believer. That's the step number one. Become a believer first. So that's what Allah is saying. Now, once you have reached that point, what you need to do is establish connection. Then Allah says, وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. This one. Establish the prayer. Establish. Now imagine if you believe the ghaib, if you believe in everything, if you are in a room again with the CCTV cameras, and somebody has asked you that, for example, every 10 minutes you need to go on the right and do 5 sit-ups. And if you do that, I'm going to reward you. Right? You will make sure you put an extra effort to do that 5 sit-ups every 10 minutes because you know he's watching. You believe he's watching. Right? If you don't believe he's watching, let's say the electricity shutout happens, would you really put that effort? You might have thoughts in your mind. You might get easy on it, right? So it's the same thing. Once you have the belief, your salah automatically improves. Automatically. You don't have to do anything. It improves. And Allah is using the word yuqimuna. Yuqimuna means to establish. It's not to pray. It's not to read. It's to establish. You establish something by putting an extra effort, going an extra mile. Okay? You establish a business. You establish an ideology. It takes effort and struggle. That's the second thing Allah is asking us to do. Third thing, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Spend from what we have provided you. That's the third thing. Right? These are all tools to become what? هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, the ones who are guided through taqwa. These are the tools we're talking about, right? The important point here I want to make is Allah is saying, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ. That's why it's read. From what we provided you. What Allah is saying, it's not yours. It's us who provided you. Whatever you're spending, it's not yours. We provided you that, so go spend. So if you do these three things, become the believer as good as you can, establish your salah, put an extra effort to build your salah, make it proper, and spend in the path of Allah. Then you do what? And then Allah say, hum yuqinun. This is the word. Hum yuqinun. Those are the one who actually do the yaqeen. What is yaqeen? Yaqeen is actually something you believe in as if you are experiencing it. If I tell you I drank an orange juice that was black in color, would you trust me? You say, perhaps I don't really believe you, but if I actually give you one and then you drink it, and it's actually an orange juice that's black in color, then you will have a yaqeen on it, right? You may still believe me because I'm a good friend and you trust me, but when you actually do it, then you actually really do a yaqeen, a firm belief that yes, that's true. That is the yaqeen, hum yuqinun, the ones who actually do it as if they feel it. So that's what Allah told you in these first two ayahs, Allazina and all the way to humul yuqinun. Now, uh, the journey you take from this path, trying to become hudal lil muttaqin, and all the way to becoming yuqinun, is that journey of struggle. That is the journey of struggle here. And honestly, I mean, believing in the ghaib, believing everything like Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did, or Hazrat Abu Bakr did, or Hazrat Umar did, is a tough job for people like us who are so deep down in the dunya, right? It's a very tough job. So the struggle that we go through is super difficult. So this entire journey is never going to be easy. It's going to be difficult for us. But Allah is looking for the effort. Now imagine if we are on this journey and we, at some point in time, for some few things, we become the yuqinuns, for some we don't. Whoever is becoming the yuqinun, Allah is telling, what are those people? Then Allah is telling, they are the ones, ulaika, those is the pointer. It's also an ism which is non-flexible. Okay? So those are the ones who are upon the guidance from their Lord. Now, if you don't have the guidance, you cannot become muttaqin, right? Because Allah said in the very beginning, it's for hudal lil muttaqin. So you need to be on the guidance to become the muttaqin, right? To be on the guidance, we need to do all of that, right? All of that, right? And then you become the yuqinuns, and when you become really who have a yaqeen, then Allah says you are on the guidance, and then you become what? Muflihun. Now, who was on the extreme right side on the previous slide? Muflihuns, right? Those were the muflihuns. Now tell me, all of the things that we have done here, were they not present in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions? They were full of it. They're full of it, right? It's us who don't. And I mean, somebody told me, one of my, I think, ustads mentioned in one of the lectures, that in the times of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Jummah khutbah was 3 minutes. Was 3 minutes. And today the Jummah khutbah is, mashallah, pretty long in most part of the Muslim world. And the reason for that is when the students are good, you need to teach less. Right? When students are not good, you need to teach more. You need to put more effort. Right? That's the scenario we're in. So, inshallah, I mean, the tool we are looking for to sail from being Muslims to really the ones who are believing as if we have yaqeen, and the tool of taqwa is this entire story summarized in these first 5 ayahs of the Surah Baqarah. This first 5 ayahs. This is how you apply these 5 ayahs in your life. Right? The Quran is not just there to read, it's to apply. Right? Understand, take wisdom out. And that's how I've come to understand this. I'll leave you with this one. There's lots more to, of course, in the Quran, where you can get more details on how to be a better muttaqi and use this tool. Inshallah, I think this is a good starting point for all of us. May Allah guide us all to be able to become the muflihuns that He expects from us.
Can I just ask?
Ji.
You know this unzila alayk, what does that translate to?
Unzila means, unzila is a passive, it means it was sent down.
Sent down.
Okay, so whatever was sent down, it's a fail. Alayk is basically to you. It's talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Whatever was sent to you.
Whatever was sent towards you, yes. Yep. So that's what it does. We will do that inshallah in detail very soon, not too far from now. Okay, so I hope that gives you a good idea, inshallah. So that's
I have one.
yes, Farhan.
I think the it's in. Can you elaborate it? Allazina yumina bil ghaib. Now, I think bil ghaib is a very deep meaning in it. So many things inside.
Yes,
I understood the kitab and salah, but bil
yes.
ghaib is very deep.
Well, ghaibi
So
is very deep, and Farhan, in the Quran, there are many places where ghaib is discussed and defined. This is just the beginning of the Quran. So, bil ghaib means unseen. Anything that is unseen and Allah has asked you to believe in, that's the ghaib for us. You have not seen angels, you have not seen jinns and messengers, you've not seen the qadr of Allah, you have not seen the Quran in Lawh Mahfuz, you've never seen hell, you have never seen heaven, you have never seen the process of ruh going from this dunya all the way to the end when you die. You've never seen all of those things. Those are ghaib, and Allah tells you about them in the Quran.
Fat, can
Okay?
you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you forward me on your group where this word is used in Quran in other? Can it be possible?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I can search the word ghaib and give you everywhere it is used in the Quran. That's not a problem. Okay?